Well, my guest today is Hani Hogan for our Diverse Orange. Welcome, Hani.
Hello, thank you.
Hani, you are quite a figure with the Downtown Arts District, with Fusion Fest, um, and a lovely person. So tell us a little bit about your heritage and background.
Sure. So yes, hello everyone. I'm Hani Hogan. I I consider, or I not consider, I am what is called Chamorro. So I was born and raised in the island of Guam. So my heritage is Chamorro or also Guamanian. If that makes sense. So I can go into more detail of that if you want.
Well, tomorrow is more the ethnic, the
True, true.
and Guam obviously is the country or island.
Yes. Yes, the territory. But yeah, so I identify with both. It's an interesting thing, and then obviously I'm American because Guam's a U.S. territory. But yeah, I if you're Chamorro, you are truly the like indigenous people of Guam, or you're part of a bloodline from the indigenous people of Guam. And then if you say you're Guamanian, it's truly like any culture or ethnicity that is from Guam. It's kind of both ways of looking at
And
it.
are Chamorro the majority of the people on Guam, or is it overrun by others?
So I would say yes, it's still the majority, but Guam is a big melting pot. About a third of Guam's population is U.S. military because there are like three branches of military in Guam. But a lot of the local people also join the military. I would say it's just a big mixture, and it's like any place that is a part of the United States, but like across the world.
Yeah, so very separated from the mainland of U.S.,
Yes.
although
Yes.
U.S. service people were there. So did
Yes.
you grow up feeling American or feeling separate, or how did that feel?
Sure. Yes. So my parents are. It's pretty interesting. So my mom is a Chamorro woman. And my grandparents are Chamorro, but my tata grandfather was in the military, and so my mom was actually born and raised in like California and Texas. Um, so she was raised pretty like Americanized while still like, understanding the native language like at home and all. So my mom doesn't even have like an island accent or anything, and that's how she was raised. And then she moved to Guam when she was started high school. So pretty Americanized. And then my dad is of Irish heritage and or Irish and French descent, and he is from Ohio. So I was raised by two very Americanized like people, and so similar to why like I don't have an island accent and all of that because that's how I was raised. But like anyone else in Guam, everyone speaks English in Guam, and we have a lot of the similar things that you would have in the mainland United States, like the same types of gas stations, restaurants, stores, like shopping, all of that. So it doesn't feel it feels different because it is a predominantly like different culture, but it's still very much a part of the United States in the way
So
that you live.
as a
I
Chamorroian,
like
did you
it.
did you learn Chamorroan language?
So it's also called Chamorro. And no, I did not. So my mom doesn't speak it fluently. She understands it perfectly, but my grandparents were really strict about making sure we all spoke English very well. And they were afraid that if it's very common among a lot of like colonized places, right, where they were very worried if they learned our native language, it would negatively affect our English learning. And it's a bummer because, now all of my cousins and their children are learning Chamorro in schools. So all the public schools in Guam, it's now required for all kids to learn the native language because pretty much the entire millennial generation wasn't learning Chamorro, not by choice, but by, families trying to make sure that they spoke English very well. So it's an unfortunate thing, but we're working on it. I mean, my grandparents, like, they'll still, speak to us in like half English and half Chamorro, and for the most part, we know what they're talking about. And then with my mom and my sister, or actually all my siblings, occasionally we'll use like Chamorro words for specific things, but
Well,
not for.
growing up in the island, when and how did you get to Orlando?
So it's very interesting. So I'm one of 5 kids, and my 3 older siblings had already moved to the mainland United States. They were all in California at that time. And sadly, my dad had a pretty bad heart attack when I was 10, 11 years old. And we knew that like if we wanted a real like future with him, we needed to move somewhere where he would have access to better health care because he's not in the military. And now the medical like field in Guam is great, but at the time there just wasn't a lot of opportunity for him. So my parents kind of brainstormed where to move, and also my older siblings were in the mainland United States already, and they knew I'd be going to college in the next 4 years, so they didn't want to like be that far away from me or for me to be that far away from them. So my family chose to move to Reno, Nevada. Super random because all my siblings were in California, but my parents didn't want to live in California. And was also a pretty good like hospital chain in Nevada for cardiac issues. So that's why we moved there. And then similar situation, my 2 older siblings decided they wanted to start businesses and grow families, but California was too expensive. But we're island people, so we need to be where it's warm all year. And so my older siblings, one by one, just moved to Florida, and we all slowly followed. And that's what happened. That's why we're all here in Orlando. And I actually wasn't even supposed to stay in Orlando. When I was done with grad school, I told myself I will move anywhere that offers me a job. I don't care if it's abroad. I don't care if it's in like a big city, anywhere that I get my first job offer. And my first job offer was at the History Center in downtown Orlando. So that's what brought me back.
Great. Well, when you were in Reno or here in Central Florida, did you ever have any experiences of feeling like you were being considered an outsider or discriminated against?
100%. So I was very much still a foreigner, right? Even though I grew up in Guam, which is still very much a part of the United States. In Reno, you could count on like one hand the number of like non-white kids were at my school. And it was a very cliquey, like long time established school. So I was very different from a lot of the students. I looked different. I have a different sounding name, so it automatically like sets me apart from people. So, and also a lot of people just don't know about Guam. And so I had multiple people make comments of like, how does it feel to wear like normal clothes now? And
To live in a real house.
Yeah, and like adults too, like truly adults would make comments, teachers, administrators, like people who are supposed to be, educating me in my growth as a young person, and they would make these comments that, as a 14-year-old, like I hated it, right? I was like, I just wish I had a normal name, like, and like things would just be so much easier because then people wouldn't ask me about like where I'm from. But obviously now that I'm an adult, that's all changed. Like I love it. I love my name. I love the culture that I'm from. And it's been something that I enjoy talking about and teaching people about Guam.
Does Ha'ani have a particular meaning?
Yes, it does. So it means new day or sunrise. So like right when the sun rises, you say it's Ha'ani.
Nice.
Yeah, my mom like always says, she was like, we named you like the perfect name because that's what you like ended up being for like everyone in your life. You're like the sunrise. So yeah.
Well, I agree, and we are delighted that you bring that new sun to us here in Central Florida. Thank you for the work
Thank you.
you've done in our community in many ways, and for just being you. We appreciate you.
Thank you, and thank you for making Fusion Fest a big deal in in our community, because it really has encouraged me to connect more with my culture and to embrace more of being different, like how great it is to be different, but realize that I'm really not that different
Yeah,
from people. And it's helped me like learn how to cook Chamorro food. I never cooked Chamorro food until I was an adult. I never owned a traditional Chamorro dress until I got involved in Fusion Fest. You know, that's something that's more common among children, but when you're an adult, you really don't wear it anymore. And yeah, it's really like helped me kind of fall in love with my culture all over again.
great. Well,
Yeah.
we appreciate talking to you today. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.